Good morning. Good morning. I am Molly Brinkerhoff, today's worship associate, and with Vic Allen's technical help, today we will be presenting a virtual service from the UU Ministry of Earth. I am glad that you are all here in the sanctuary as well as all the others that are watching us virtually. We know that you come here for different reasons: to find community, to seek your spiritual and personal truths, to question, to nurture your heart and soul, to be nurtured, to explore new ideas, to find comfort, and perhaps to find the answers to some of your bigger questions. We welcome you. We know you come from different places, different religions, different beliefs, different backgrounds. We hope you will find comfort, connection, challenge, and love here. We hope you will find ways to provide outreach to others in our Unitarian Universalist Church in Idaho Falls, in our local community, and in our world community. So, before we get started, there are a few announcements. Please silence your cell phones. So that today is going to be a little different. So those of you who are watching virtually, if you are able, please sign in to the chat box. This will let us know who is joining us. Today we are streaming from the UU Ministry of Earth, so I'm going to just do a few things, our traditional things that we do later in the service earlier, and I will tell you about that in a minute. So first off, there will be no religious education for the children today, since this is an intergenerational service. Next Friday is the next UUCIF game night at 5:30. Pizza and games will be provided. The protein drive is still ongoing. Please, if you have any protein items, put them in this basket that's right over here. How long is that going for?
Did it fill up the basket?
Till the basket is filled. So we need to get people to put stuff in there. So we are now, normally we do our joys and concerns a little bit later in the service, but I was originally not going to do joys and concerns, but because we got one via email today, I decided to go ahead and we're going to do that now. And I'm going to have Ron light the candles for me. So if you have joys and concerns, which we obviously do, thank you. I'm going to have Ron light the first one for me. I have a great joy that my oldest son, William, is now in Boise, moving from Brooklyn, New York, with his wife Nicole and my grandbaby Zoe. So we're very excited that they're there safe and sound, despite some challenges of going across the country. So from Judy Stanley, we light a joy candle for Anita is in Arizona.
Yeah.
We will miss her greatly. And Dennis will be in Nevada in a day or two, so we're really sad to see both of them go. Kat Reese has a joy. Kelsey got first place in cheer competition. I got a new camper too. That's for the cheer competition, not for the camper. Although that's exciting too. Victoria has a concern. Her sister-in-law has a detached retina and is recovering. I hope she recovers her sight. And she has 3 other friends dealing with ill health. May they all recover and enjoy the summer. And then find the other one. From Nancy Frank, she has a big concern. Her and Larry's hearts are with the family and friends of the young woman who was shot in Washington County, New York this past week. They know the area well. Their oldest son's family lives near Salem, where the car full of young people finally had enough cell service to call 911. Though he was not on duty that night, our son's volunteer rescue squad made that call. One of the rescue squad members was actually best friends with the murdered girl. It seems not too long ago that our own 2 sons were riding around with their high school friends just 30 or so miles away on the other side of the Hudson in Sarasota Springs. That's what kids do, and now our grandsons are the same age, driving those same Washington County back roads. May they be safe. So, and we all agree with that. It's very sad, very sad. So, and we light one more candle for all those joys and concerns that we are not quite ready to share with our union community. All right, so today's worship is from the Unitarian Universalist Ministry for Earth's Active for Earthcare 2023 Earth Day Worship Program. The UU Ministry of Earth is a denominational-wide justice ministry based in Portland, Oregon, whose mission is to be a wellspring of spiritual and educational grounding and practical support for bold, accountable action for environmental justice, climate justice, and the flourishing of all life. You can find out more and get connected with this virtual ministry at uumfe.org. We will now begin with our prelude.
As the sea levels rise and the wildfires still burn, there are so many people who have nowhere to turn. But each life is precious, of infinite worth. So how can we save life on earth? It will take all of us, all of us, caring for all of us, all of us, sharing with all of us, a safer home, a safer home. It will take all of us, working with all of us, all of us, doing what none of us can do alone. The future depends on the changes we make, and we don't have much time to repair our mistakes. We'll work for a world where the children breathe free, where rivers and oceans are clean. It will take all of us, all of us, caring for all of us, all of us, sharing with all of us, a safer home, a a safer home. It will take all of us, working with all of us, doing what none of us can do alone. It will take all of us. It will take all of us. None of us can do it alone.
Welcome. We are grateful and honored to gather and worship with you today. I'm Reverend Kelly Dignan, and my pronouns are she, her.
And I'm Reverend Daniel Lawler. My pronouns are he, him. We are the co-directors of Unitarian Universalist Ministry for Earth, where our mission is to be a source of spiritual grounding and educational support for bold action for environmental justice, Earthcare, and the flourishing of all life.
Last year, Dana Clark wrote our climate anthem, All of Us, and this year it's performed by Robbie Pate. The song asks, what are we to do? Well, one thing we can do, for sure, is to engage our senses and build a relationship with Earth and our more than human kin. We can begin with our bodies in the places where we reside, right now in the present moment, together in community. So that's what we're going to do today. And we invite you to engage as much as you are willing and able.
We want to say thank you to all contributors, to Dana Clark, composer of the anthem All of Us, Robbie Pate, who offers his beautiful adaptation of the powerful anthem with us today, Lindsay Donnelly Bullington, our dynamic congregational engagement intern from Boston University School of Theology, who's offering the chalice lighting and extinguishing, Reverend Petra Tomes, who leads us in land acknowledgement.
We thank Reverend Christopher Lamb for the music they composed and performed for us today, Michaela Caldera for a grounding meditation for all ages, Dennis Yerry for his beautiful instrumental, and for the embodied practice, we thank Reverend Jen Simon. Reverend Dr. Leonisa Artizone and Sadie Crickmar provided all the video editing and the finishing touches. We are grateful.
And to you, our supporters, partners, friends, allies, advocates, in ways big and small across the world, you are working to cultivate justice, equity, and compassion within the whole interdependent web of life. Thank you. It will take all of us.
We light our chalice with the words of Katie Romano Griffin. May the flame of this chalice, the symbol of our faith, connect us to all who have come before us, all who are with us in body and spirit, and all who are yet to come into being. May it serve as a reminder of our unity and connection across all time and space.
Wulu Wapan. That is a greeting in the Munsee language. My name is Reverend Petra Toms. I'm the minister of Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Central Nassau. I am of African American and Cherokee heritage, but I'm living here in Westchester on Lenape land. We were put here upon Turtle Island to be caretakers, to gather in a good way, to be with all of Earth's children in their forms, those of the land, the water, and the air. The Lenape are known today as the Ramapo Munsee Lenape. They are Shehechbi, that is their name in the Munsee language, and will always be keepers of the pass. That is to say, they were allies with the rebels at the time of the American Revolution, and their alliance with the rebels allowed them a strategic advantage because they were allowed to use the Ramapo Pass. That helped to bring about the formation of the United States in their success. So let this moment of recognition be a monument of action. Let this be a beginning of hope for our people as we acknowledge our debt to those who have come before, who have been denigrated and suffered for the sake of cultural and land appropriation. Let this land acknowledgement be the beginning of our return to unity. Let us be guardians of the water, the air, and the earth. The four-legged, the flyers, the swimmers, the crawlers, the mammal people, and the green. Let us be the guardians of harmony and kindness. Anishi, Anishi, Anishi. Aho.
At General Assembly in 2022, the Reverend Dr. Sophia Betancourt gave a wonderful presentation. It was the Foz lecture, and it was entitled Ancestral Wisdom and Climate Justice. And in it, she said that our current climate crisis is a transgenerational problem, and it will require a transgenerational solution. She said that we tend to seek dominant culture solutions to this crisis, and those won't do. We can't use the urgency of climate devastation to erase or silence communities again. And she reminds us that one way to avoid those dominant culture solutions is to tap into a transgenerational solution, and specifically those of our ancestors and inherited cultures. Solutions that come from our ancestors and our inherited cultures. What would those be even? I want to invite you to just bring to mind some of your ancestors. You may know them, you may know about them, you may have heard stories about them. Is there an ancestor who told you a story that made you remember that your identity and the earth are linked? That's the question, one of the questions that Reverend Dr. Sophia asks us. Are there stories that you remember? Just give yourself a minute to think about that. Maybe there was someone in your life, a grandma, a grandpa, a great aunt, who reminded you that you are linked to earth. And does that story or does that practice or does that memory strengthen you? And what does it ask of you or teach you? These are the questions that might help us turn to a transgenerational solution to the climate crisis. There's also food, song, art, myths, stories that might influence you. What we do know is that most ancient cultures, most of our ancestors used their physical senses to tune into the natural world, to tune into their deep connection with Earth and the living Earth community, to communicate and to practice reciprocity. Now, we don't necessarily have to use all of those senses: sight, hearing, smell, touch, taste, and we may not have access to all of those senses. So I invite you to use whichever physical senses are available to you. And we're going to start today by sensing into place. So I invite you to figure out where north is. Where is north? You might have to get out your phone, or maybe someone in the room with you knows where north. For me, it's straight ahead. So I invite you to really feel yourself turning to the north as you're willing and able, and using one of your senses. Notice. Maybe there's something you see or hear or smell. There you are, facing north. Now, turning to your right, you're going to face east. As you're willing and able, turn to the east and use either the same sense or a different one to see what you notice. Facing east. Turning right again, you'll be facing south. Again, engage whatever sense makes most sense to you. What do you notice when you turn south? And then one more turn to the right and you're facing west. Use your senses to see what you notice. And then return to where you are and notice the earth beneath you, the sky above you. You are here, now, in this place where you are, in this present moment.
What do you see? What do you see? Take a look around and what do you see? Shapes and colors, shadow and light, everything that lies within your sight. Life is calling now, swirling round, rooting down. Life is calling now, inside out, sky and ground. Whoa, whoa. See life now, whoa, whoa. See life now. What do you hear? What do you hear? All those sounds are moving through the air. Song and laughter, hopes and fears, everything that beats within your ear. Life is calling now, swirling round, rooting down. Life is calling now, inside out, sky and ground. Whoa, whoa, hear life now. Whoa, whoa, hear life now. What do you touch? What do you touch? Try to settle down, and what do you touch? Earth beneath you, blowing wind, everything that comes upon your skin. Life is calling now, swirling round, rooting down. Life is calling now, inside out, sky and ground. Whoa. life now. What do you taste? What do you taste? Focus inside, and what do you taste? Fruits and veggies, egg, foo young, everything that comes to touch your tongue. Life is calling now, swirling round, rooting down. Life is calling now, inside out, sky and ground. Whoa, whoa, taste life now. Whoa, whoa, taste life now. What do you smell? What do you smell? Breathe in, breathe out. And what do you smell? Baking cookies, blooming a rose, everything that moves to greet your nose. Life is calling now, swirling round, rooting down. Life is calling now, inside out, sky and ground. Whoa, whoa, breathe life now. Whoa, whoa, sense life now.
Hello everyone. Thank you for joining me for this nature meditation for all ages. I am so grateful to be sharing in this practice with you. I really started engaging with nature-based meditation through programs and training with the Wilderness Awareness School in Washington. I took part in an at-home naturalist program they offered that ended up placing me on a rock in a park near my home every day for over 2 years. I learned to heighten my senses, lower my zone of disturbance, deepen my connection with the earth, and pour my gratitude into the natural and spiritual world. Today I will be leading you through these steps, but I encourage you to find your own special space that calls to you for this type of meditation. When I first began this practice, I grounded myself on the earth through deep breaths, closed my eyes and felt the energy in my heart, and listened to the direction it pulled me. Imagine my surprise when it pulled me to a rock on the edge of a parking lot. That rock became my special rock, though, full of secrets and mysteries. I learned the special calls of the prairie dogs, smelled the changes of the seasons, and had a bald eagle, coyotes, and hawks come closer to me than I would have ever imagined. Let's begin. Take a few deep breaths. Move to your special spot with care, trying to disturb as little of the environment as possible with your voice, body, and energy. Imagine you're a little fox moving carefully through the space. Step your toes and heels quietly as you move delicately in the direction that you are pulled. Feel free to pause the meditation until you have found your space. When you find your special spot in nature, take a few more grounding breaths. Close your eyes and activate your dear ears. What is the farthest and quietest sound you can hear? What is the closest sound you can hear? Try and listen to the sounds without naming or judgment. Let them flow through you like a breeze in the trees. Next, stick out your tongue like a little snake and taste the air. Imagine your nose is that of a bear and take small sniffs. With time, you may begin to taste and smell the changing of weather or seasons. Feel all around you. What is the temperature of the air on your skin like? What is the texture of the earth below you? If it feels all right, take off your shoes and feel the earth below your toes. Use your raccoon paws to feel the surfaces in your immediate surroundings. Are they soft, cool, warm, or rough? Take a moment to pause and reactivate your deer ears, listening again for the quietest, most distant sound. Imagine your body is part of the earth below you, and keep your energy close as you slowly and gently open your eyes with a soft gaze. Activate your owl eyes by not focusing too closely on one thing, just noticing and appreciating the small and large movements all around you. Try and keep your breathing natural and slow, even if you're excited by an unexpected animal. What do you notice with your soft gaze? Again, feel free to pause and take in all the sights around you. When you feel ready, start to notice and name your gratitudes. Was there a special plant or animal that caught your eye? Are you thankful for the peaceful river or the creatures that live in it? Try and think of all the beings, both physical and spiritual, that surround you in this place. Sometimes I move my eyes from the ground up or my space outward and try to think of each element I am grateful for. Let your gratitude pour out, and some days the earth may whisper back to you. When you're ready to rise, do so slowly and intentionally like a fox. If you feel called, perhaps journal about what you saw, felt, or experienced. You may want to share your stories with a special friend. Thank you again for sharing in this practice with me.
I was with a group of Unitarian Universalists online last week, and someone asked, how can we move from doing environmental justice from our minds and from the thinking parts of us to doing it from our hearts? And someone in the group, we can call her Sue, said, well, maybe we need to build a deeper relationship with the living earth community and actually work out of that relationship instead of just facts and figures and science and fights. Now, Sue went on to describe her mathematical mind. and how much she appreciates the data, the analysis. She talked about her history of showing up at protests and writing letters and analyzing the problem and then analyzing it again and having difficult conversations with family members. And then she described a time that happened 15 years ago. She was at a UU district meeting, and there was an outside facilitator who was there and invited the group to go out and find a tree and build a relationship with it. Now, Sue involuntarily rolled her eyes. She was like, no, I am not doing that. There are problems to be solved. We have work to do. This is a crisis. But the facilitator just encouraged her. And so she begrudgingly traveled outside into the area where they were meeting and found a tree. The tree. With her hands, she touched its bark. With her sense of sight, she noticed its height, its branches, its leaves. With her feet, she felt the ground beneath her and imagined the roots of this tree below her. With her sense of hearing, she listened to the breeze rustle the leaves. The tree. It opened her heart. She said that the change wasn't immediate. It took quite a bit of time for her to really begin to realize the power of a reciprocal, loving relationship with the natural world. And she says it's opened her heart, that the way she works for environmental justice is different today. She went on to describe how she recently learned a practice of reciprocity, one that involves breathing. And I want to invite us into that together right now. So do whatever you'd like to do with your eyes. You can close them or lower your gaze. And you can imagine a tree. Now, if there's a plant in your room or your area where you are right now, you can actually do this with the plant. When we breathe in, we receive the gift of oxygen that plants and trees offer us. And when we breathe out, we offer back the gift of carbon dioxide. So let's try it together if you'd like. Again, with your eyes lowered, closed, or open. Focus on that in-breath. Breathing in the gift of oxygen from the tree or the plant that you are building a relationship with. Now focus on the out-breath and offer as a gift to the plant or the tree carbon dioxide. In the book, Braiding Sweetgrass, Robin Wall Kimmerer concludes that in our current culture, we think gratitude is enough to offer in return for the gifts of earth. But we're called to move beyond gratitude to become, once again, like our ancestors did and were, a culture of reciprocity, where in everyday life we give thanks for what we've been given, and then we give a gift in return. Breathing in and breathing out. We receive and we give. It reminds me of the platinum rule. You know, the golden rule is treat others the way you want to be treated. But the platinum rule is treat others the way they want to be treated. How does Earth want to be treated? When we tune in, we might learn more about how Earth wants to be treated. Breathing in, we receive gifts. The gift of oxygen. Breathing out, we offer gifts. The gifts of carbon dioxide.
Reverend Kelly, thank you so much for that meditation. Friends, as we are gathering today, we just know that our collective work is what creates opportunities and possibilities. I am so grateful for you because the work that you are doing in your local context, in your local communities, that's what sustains the environmental justice movement in many forms across Unitarian Universalism. Today, I invite you to take a moment to consider an investment, a gift to Unitarian Universalist Ministry for Earth. You sustain our ministry, you create opportunities, you help fund the Young Adults for Climate Justice, the UU BIPOC Caucus on Climate Justice, all the work for spiritual grounding, education, advocacy. Your collective gifts create moments and structures that allow different conversations and supports and transitions to happen. In the coming moments, consider a gift either on our website or later, you and your congregation could write a check or work for a share of the plate. We only exist because of your confidence and trust, and we take that seriously. Thank you. And together, in many forms, in many days, in many ways, let's build a movement for love and justice. May it be so.
The practice of engaging our senses helps us develop a reciprocal relationship with Earth. It can happen anywhere, in our homes with plants and animals, in our backyards, in parks nearby. But how does this practice lead us to act for environmental justice? Well, it reminds us that the dualistic view where humans and Earth are separate won't do. Humans, all humans are nature. We don't live in nature or go out in nature. We are nature. These practices of sensing and reciprocity remind us to value the embodied and intuitive ways of knowing, not just the scientific and intellectual ways of reasoning. They help us remember that we are one part of the interdependent web of life. And I don't know about you, but that leads me to humility. Environmental justice is best done when it comes from partnerships, relationships, and humility. Now, those are not dominant culture modern practices. They're older practices. They're probably the practices of our ancestors, and somehow they've been lost along the way. Reverend Dr. Sophia Bettencourt, in her FAWS lecture on ancestral wisdom and the climate crisis, asks us, what if your ancestors hold you accountable for environmental commitments? What have your ancestors been waiting for you to remember that you already know?
There is a movement, there is a higher sound, there is a hollow, glittering underground, there is a home, so slow and sweet, and it is made for you, in the soles of your feet. Oh, oh, I can hear the ancestors singing. Oh, oh, calling every moment into life. Oh, oh, the grief and rage will leave us gleaming, till there's nothing left to do but shine. There's nothing left to do but shine. There's nothing left to do but shine. Till there's nothing left to do but shine. There's nothing left to do but shine. There's nothing left to do but shine. Oh, oh, there is a light. There's so many guiding hands. There is a joy springing up from the land. There is a home, a place of fire and flood, and it is strength in you, smoldering in your gut. Oh, oh, I can hear the ancestors singing. Oh, oh, calling every moment into life. Oh, oh, the grief and rage will leave us gleaming, until there's nothing left to do but shine. There's nothing left to do but shine. There's nothing left to do but shine. Till there's nothing left to do but shine. There's nothing left to do but shine. There's nothing left to do but shine. Oh, 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 They are the reason. You are the higher ground. We are the warmth, circling all around. There is a home, a place of love and rest, and it is made for you. Right inside your chest, yes, there is a home, so slow and sweet, and it is made for you, in the soles of your feet.
Hello, I'm Reverend Jen Simon. Today I'm going to share with you a spiritual practice and meditation informed by the traditions of my ancestors. I am not an initiate of Ifa, but some of my spiritual practices are informed by the Yoruba religion and the deep ties to the earth of my African and Caribbean ancestors. Perhaps your ancestors had a similar practice. Many indigenous religions, whether African, European, Asian, or from the Americas or Australia, have some kind of sacred place meant for remembering and venerating ancestors. If you have time now, or maybe later, I suggest you collect some object, a stone, some earth, sand, that relates to an ancestral home. On my altar, I have a stone. I also have pictures of my ancestors, as well as representations of the four elements, earth, air, fire, and water, and some food and drink for my ancestors. This is a cornmeal cake that would have been familiar to some of my people, and a bit of manischewitz that was my grandma's favorite, as well as some incense to invite my ancestors to me. If you have an ancestor altar, consider keeping these objects on it that speak to the elements that have nurtured your family for millennia and longer. If you don't have an altar, consider building one or create a special place in your home for these objects, so you might touch them as a reminder of the ties your people have had to the earth. And now, I invite you to soften your gaze, and I invite you to take your earth object in your hand and join me for a brief meditation. As you take a breath, I invite you to consider your ancestors. Regard a photo of one of them, or remember what they looked like. As you do so, bring your senses to the space behind you. Imagine a close ancestor, familial or spiritual, blood or chosen, placing their hands on your shoulders or your back, if that's comfortable for you, or looking at you with love if physical touch isn't your thing. Imagine them giving you reassurance, unconditional love, and support. Picture them looking at you with loving eyes, and imagine their ancestors behind them, offering them love and support. And then their ancestors behind them, until you can imagine your ancestors, again familial or spiritual, blood or chosen, stretched out in a fan behind you, all looking toward you, loving. Thank them for all the generations of care they have put into you. Thank them for the care they have given in their deep relation to land and water, sustaining the earth for generations. Now envision that earth from which they came, that has sustained all of them, that continues to sustain us and will continue to nurture our succeeding generations, all in an unbroken line of love and connection. Feel the bit of earth in your hand, a tiny piece of the planet without which we could not live. Think of all the generations of plant life it has produced and the animals it has nurtured. Feel how it returns your warmth, as it has returned the warmth of thousands of your ancestors before you, and as it promises to do for your descendants. Give it a squeeze and thank it for sustaining generations of your people. Now take another breath. Breathe in the smell, either in fact or in memory, of the food of your ancestors. Do it again. And again, thank the earth for producing the food that has nurtured your people. I breathe in the love and support, the resilience and strength of my ancestors, and of Mother Earth, and of the divine. I breathe out love and gratitude to my ancestors, to Mother Earth who has sustained us, and to the divine interconnection that binds us all together. Touch the bit of earth again. Shift your sensing to the space in front of you, and envision in that space the many generations to come of your family, of your spiritual descendants, of all the children who are and who are yet to be. And as you hold your bit of earth or stone, thank it for nurturing the generations to come. And after you thank the earth, make it a promise. Say, I will love and sustain you as you love and sustain me. I will love and sustain you as you love and sustain. And then once again, as we close, I breathe in the love and support, the resilience and strength of my ancestors, of Mother Earth and the divine. I breathe out love and gratitude to my ancestors, to Mother Earth who has sustained us, and to the divine interconnection that binds us all together. Amen. Ashe. And may it be so.
Environmental justice requires a transgenerational solution. It will take all of us, past, present, and future, caring for all of us, sharing with all of us, working together, all of us, doing what none of us can do alone. We are building a culture right now in this present moment that will be inherited one day. So I wonder what you are building in your communities and in your families, a culture of action and hopefully reflection, a culture of reciprocity and deep relationship with the living earth community and all of our kin. I wonder if there are any practices in particular that you could pass on. Could you teach a grandchild to breathe in and out with a plant? Could you hike or walk or garden with a grown adult child? Could you research your ancestors and the practices they may have had? These are some things to consider. And then now, as we close our time together, we thank the ancestors. We offer a blessing to the generations to come. And we offer and ask for continued strength and resilience in the present moment as we care for the living earth community and all of our kin, including the ones who are more than human. May it be so.
We extinguish this flame, but not our fiery call to action. We extinguish this flame, but not our passion to care for creation. We extinguish this flame, but not our call to be in deeper connection with Earth and all our relations. We extinguish this flame, but not the bright light showing us a better way. We extinguish this flame, and as we do, we acknowledge that our greatest asset is one another.
as the sea levels rise and the wildfires still burn. There are so many people who have nowhere to turn, but each life is precious, of infinite worth. So how can we save life on earth? It will take all of us, all of us, caring for all of us, all of us, sharing with all of us, a safer home, a safer home. It will take all of us, working with all of us, all of us, doing what none of us can do alone. The future depends on the changes we make, and we don't have much time to repair our mistakes. We'll work for a world where the children breathe free, where rivers and oceans are clean. It will take all of us, all of us, caring for all of us, all of us, sharing with all of us, a safer home, a safer home. It will take all of us, all of us, working with all of us, all of us, doing what now